Black Ops 2 saw the release of its most controversial map of all time, a map that all these years later is still memed on and brought up in conversation when discussing the worst zombies maps of all time. I'm here to tell you haters out there, you're wrong. It should be noted that Transit was my first ever zombies experience, so I have some nostalgia towards the map. I know, right? I used to spend hours of my free time after school absolutely enamored by Ted. I think it's also important to note that all of this was happening on the Nintendo Wii U. My first map was not only Transit, but it was Transit on the Wii U. The fucking Wii U. And I loved it. Transit's far from perfect. However, I think where Transit absolutely excels at is its visual storytelling. The atmosphere here is unlike any other zombies map. It's one of the only times when playing Call of Duty Zombies where I feel like I'm actually experiencing a real-life zombie apocalypse. The world around you is empty, decimated, and decayed. All while still including some immaculate set pieces. Call of Duty Zombies typically goes for and excels at grand adventure, with the likes of Moon, Origins, and Horizon Drag coming to mind. It's all about the grand adventure of it all. Transit's no grand adventure. It's bleak and downright terrifying, especially when playing solo. It really is unlike anything Treyarch's ever done up until that point, and even since. One of my favorite places to visit in Transit is the farm. The sound of the crickets and owls filling the void of emptiness, and the ruined land surrounding what might have used to be a very beautiful piece of property, now tarnished. Add that with the visual lighting and crackling thunder, it just adds to the loneliness and doubt. It all reminds me that I'm just a survivor trying to survive. Another overlooked aspect of Transit is the map's radios. These, along with Die Rise, might just be some of my favorite sets of radios in the entire series. It really adds to the world building of these maps. You can hear regular day-to-day people crying out for help, going mad, and forced to pick sides between the voices in their heads, that being Maxis and Richtofen respectfully.
What's that? Who's there? Yes, I can hear you. Of course I have. There's nothing else. No, I won't do that. How do I know you're not lying? You could be making all that up. Well, sure, that only makes sense. Dude, you're lying. But, no, I see, sure. Really? But they're my friends. Yes, of course I see now. I'll do it. I'll do it for you. For you and the flesh. You think you're so smart, huh? You think you can manipulate everybody into doing what you want, but we know the truth. Your calculating works and your sniffer agents? You mean to destroy this planet and kill us all? We're not gonna help. No way, no how. So yeah, you keep talking. But no one's gonna hear you because we're destroying everything. Everything electronic, starting with this evil radio box thing. Hello. This is Jackass Flats calling any human community within broadcasting distance. We're located at standard map coordinates 37 degrees 07 north, 116 degrees 03 west. This is a warning to anyone contacted by a group of mysterious voices. Several of our party began to hear the voices, and their competing instructions and incompatible demands drove a wedge down the center of the camp. Half of the camp is carrying out the demands of only through electronic. This voice is a big, long, and its ultimate goal's unclear. The other voice cannot be heard by humans who have not been on the long madness this way lies. Neither of these instruction sets will understand. Those of us who have not chosen a side have been hunted by both sides, seeking to force us to assist them. Oh God, they found us! Oh! Get back! You can stop!
This map captures isolation, and it captures everything I'd imagine an apocalypse to look like. Can Transit be annoying? Yes. Can Transit be tedious? Yes. Do I think Transit is fun despite all that? Yes, I do. Call it nostalgia, because that absolutely can be a factor, but I think my love for this map extends deeper than nostalgia. I'm not going to sit here and compare this map to Origins or Mob of the Dead because there's no point, and obviously the likes of Mob and Origins do play better. However, with that said, that doesn't mean that Transit has nothing going for it. It can be challenging and unforgiving. Its atmosphere, again, is bar none. It's the best representation of a zombie apocalypse in everyday America that Treyarch has ever made. The only other map I could most compare Transit to is Liberty Falls, and no, Liberty Falls doesn't hold a candle to the atmosphere and world building that Transit brought to the table, with Transit taking a lot more on than Liberty Falls does. Granted, Liberty Falls takes place right after an outbreak, while Transit takes place in the middle of an outbreak that just on top of that got bombarded by some rockets, so a little bit more to it than that. But Liberty Falls radios also mostly spend most of their time diving into Project Janus and what Richtofen's overarching goals might be. Whereas what I like about Transit's radios is that we don't know much. In Transit, we know about the people and the citizens that resided here, who now cry out in anguish while they are forced to sit by and not only lose their livelihoods, but their sanity as well. We know about the Flesh, a group of survivors who gathered around to feast on the dead zombie meat, one of which was our own Stuhlinger, who was a part of our crew. Other than that, we don't know a whole lot besides our direct actions at the end of Black Ops 1, and I like that. I love doing the Moon Easter egg and directly following it up with a game of Transit just to visually see the consequences of my actions. That continuation, I think, was a brilliant move by Jimmy Zielinski, and I can see his vision each and every time I hop on this map. One area where I do really question his decisions, however, is the Easter egg itself. It's
the biggest piece of dog shit.
It's just not good. You light up a tower and that's it. You don't even get a reward. It was so bad that back in the day when the map first released and people completed the Easter egg, got the achievement, they were still convinced that there was more to it. That's how anticlimactic this map's Easter egg truly was. It was just downright abysmal. However, in day-to-day playthroughs, it doesn't hinder my overall enjoyment of the map. It's just not a quest I'll ever find myself doing ever again. Probably. Moving along, I think it's time now to talk about the biggest missed opportunity of the map, and that's the buildable system. Why am I limited to carrying a single part at any given time? How am I supposed to know which part is which unless if I'm either experienced or looking at a guide? It's something that Jason Blundell just did better. The ability to carry multiple parts and to have them organized for you in your HUD is just the right way of doing a buildable system, especially on a map as big and expansive as Transit was. This kind of system functioned on a map like Buried because of the size of Buried. It was significantly easier to get everything you needed, along with the help of our boy Leroy, which made this inferior buildable system somewhat tolerable because giving him candy, he would literally build it for you. On a map like Transit as is, however, it just doesn't cut it. Now, let's talk about a bit about this map's most controversial buildable, the Wonder Weapon, the Jet Gun. Now, as I've previously mentioned in my Liberty Balls review, I love what they did with the Jet Gun in Black Ops 6, and it's without question the best version of this weapon. However, I'm not totally against the method of obtaining the Jet Gun in Transit. If this just had the Mob of the Dead buildable system and didn't fucking combust upon using the Wonder Weapon, because you're only ever supposed to just glance at it, it gets shy, guys, then I wouldn't have a problem with it. I just attempted to build this damn thing last night, and while I didn't succeed,
if you let me die!
that was the last part I needed, by the way. And despite my epic fail, I honestly had a great time exploring the map and finding these pieces. It was actually kind of fun doing it. And if the reward of obtaining the Wonder Weapon wasn't as ass as it was, then I think people wouldn't have had as big of an issue with the system. And that's with the Transit buildable system in mind. What Treyarch even could have done, and this is wild to think about, but you know how buildable items like the shield and the turbine typically break, right? Well, if Treyarch insisted on the jet gun combusting, they should have done a few things. First, they should have made it do what it does in Liberty Falls and have the combustion kill enemies from a wide range, securing your protection. And secondly, They should have made it easily obtainable at the buildable bench where you built it at, just like every other buildable item in Transit, and obtainable by every player. Hell, even the pack-a-punch you also have to build, and that at least stays put once it's all put together. So I guess I should specify any buildable that you could pick up and take with you. Speaking of pack-a-punch, the process is also really silly. Requiring a turbine that might break on your journey from the power station to the town is really an unfortunate design. I think it's worth mentioning that the town, which holds the Pack-a-Punch, the Check Gun Buildable, and Juggernaut, for Christ's sake, immediately gets omega cucked by the exclusion of any wall buys, which is just so stupid. Overall, though, I really enjoyed hopping back on Transit. I loved the ambiance and the atmosphere it provided to me. I love the lore and the set pieces that Treyarch designed for this map. It's small town America gone to shit, and I'm a sucker for that kind of environment. And it's something very lacking in Treyarch Zombies. Beyond all else, I had fun. Black Ops 2 is the most unique game in the series for a reason. You get two distinct visions for the future of zombies, one man versus the other. We all know how this story worked out. Jimmy packed up his bags and Jason took over the reins. However, I think both styles work in unison, delivering the zombies experience with different sense of styles that, to this day, I don't think one is better than the other. Both serve their respective purposes. Black Ops 2 is an incredible game on all fronts, and I want to spend a bit more time with each map individually, and I think making individual videos for each map is the way to go for this retrospective series, especially for a game like Black Ops 2, as there's so much that happens for this game between its November 2012 release and the final DLC in August 2013. And I, for one, can't wait to talk about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think and what you'd like to see from me in the comments below. And don't forget to like, comment, share to your friends, and subscribe.